Hey guys, welcome back. So between episodes, I actually ended up doing a little bit of exploring. Just about an hour, I think, when I was watching some Twitch streams, and I actually ended up finding a lot more than I thought I would. Now, unfortunately, because I was watching streams, I wasn't recording my audio. However, I was recording my screen, so let's take a look at what I found. So the main thing I wanted from this trip was to find another sniffer egg. We managed to get one last episode, but if we want them to be sustainable, then we're going to need at least two. So I headed south to my desert portal and flew out from there. Almost immediately I found a desert temple where I managed to find 6 pottery sherds, 2 more June smithing templates and a god apple, which was a very good start to our adventuring. After leaving there I managed to find a village which had a new camel for us to attempt to bring home. I wasn't done with adventuring though, so I temporarily tied him to a fence post. He doesn't mind, I swear. Next there was a desert well which gave me the brewer pottery sherd, which I'm pretty sure we didn't find last time, and then another village appeared with a second camel, so hopefully we'll be able to bring them both home safely and we'll be able to breed them if needed. Then I was incredibly lucky because I found another desert temple, but this time only found 2 sherds and a god apple, which is still pretty good. Afterwards I stumbled upon another well with a pottery sherd and then found this absolutely huge coral reef which was very pretty to fly over. Next to a different coral reef, I found a warm ocean ruin where I found 3 sherds, and then found another ocean ruin where I got another sherd before getting very excited about finding the sniffer egg I'd been looking for, and then getting 3 more sherds. A very fruitful couple of ruins. On my way home, I found another well with a sherd, and a cold water ocean ruin which had 9 sherds, which I think has to be the most I've ever found in a single structure. Finally, we found a pillager outpost which unfortunately didn't have the armour trim, but did at least have a horn for us. And then I returned home, pockets absolutely rammed with goodies. In fact, I think after this adventure there's only 1 sherd that we haven't collected, which I think is Howl from the Trail Ruins, so we'll have to find another one of them at some point. And then of course, we have our prize from the trip, our second sniffer egg. Speaking of sniffer eggs, we now really need to actually hatch them. However, we can't just have them wandering around any old place. No, they need a nice home, a sanctuary if you will. And I know exactly where to build one. That will do very nicely. Just a lovely little enclosure for our new friends, which I think should be big enough to maybe have 4 or 5 without getting super crowded, but we'll have to see how we get on with the 2 that we need to hatch before thinking about adding any more. Before we hatch the eggs, I just want to show you around here very quickly. It's not super detailed, but I think it's got just enough going on with it to look quite nice. As you can see, the majority of the floor is moss, but I've tried to add some variation by having the azalea bushes and also some leaves, and over here I've also done some of the new cherry leaves, and I think it works, but I'm not 100% sold on having the leaves there, but it adds for some nice variation. Then we have a couple of nice little bushes, and we also have the pink petals all scattered around to give it some nice texture, but hopefully not look too busy. And then at the back here, I've just made this little cave, which I think turned out quite nicely. I could have honestly made this a lot bigger since this hill here is quite big, but I didn't want to give the sniffers too much room to sort of wander off where we wouldn't ever really be able to see them. So I think this should be a good little shelter while still always being able to keep them on display. Or at least that's the hope. I guess we won't really know until we actually get them in here. that being said, I think it's time we hatch our eggs. And luckily they hatch a lot faster when placed on moss, and there is plenty of that to go around, so let's just put one here, and we'll put one over here as well. And now we just have to wait, and eventually they will hatch for us. Ooh, okay, we've got our first cracks. It's getting there. That one just cracked again. Don't think this one has yet. Oh, there it goes. Oh, they're getting so close to hatching. He hatched! Look at him go! Oh, what about your friend? Is she gonna hatch too? That's so cute! Oh, hello! Well, aren't you adorable? And these are just the babies, they get so huge. Oh, I love them. Hello. Oh. Yes, hello. 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 I wish you could pet them. You should definitely be able to pet animals in Minecraft, I'm just saying. Oh. I do, actually, as you might be able to tell from my hotbar. I have names for them. You shall be Sniffle, and your friend over here shall be Snuffle. I just like the idea of having Sniffle and Snuffle. But they're just so cute. I love them so much. Look, Sniffle just grew up. He's so big. I mean, actually, they are huge. Like, he's over 2 blocks tall. Oh, and there we go. Those are some chonky models, but they are absolutely adorable. That was a big sniff. And now I think they just have a basically random chance to sniff out the seeds, and I think they can find them on moss. So obviously they won't be able to find seeds in any of like the azaleas or the leaves, but there's plenty of moss around for them to hopefully dig us up some seeds. But they are absolutely massive. Look, it's just a walking hedge. It's just, oh, the hedge has a head. Hello. Oh no, it's back to just being a hedge. I feel like this is some form of disguise. They're trying to hide from me. It's not very effective, but it is cute. Oh. Look at him go. What did you find? A pitcher pod? Yeah. You're so good. You're so good. Ah, you're adorable. Oh, and it looks like Sniffle is off on the hunt. Hopefully he found something, possibly even a torchflower seed if we're lucky. Oh, nope, another pitch pod. Thank you, Sniffle. You happy? Yeah. We're happy. What have you found? Yes, torchflower seeds. So, as I'm sure most of you know by now, you plant these seeds on farmland, and they actually grow more like crops. Oh, that's a nice advancement. They actually grow more like crops than other flowers in the game. So, for the pitcher pod, this is the final growth stage, and then this is the torch flower. And then, once they're fully grown, you can just pop them off, and you can plant them wherever you want. Although, the pitcher pod does actually lose that sort of box it had at the bottom when it was on the farmland, which is kind of a shame because I think it looked quite cool. But I absolutely love the look of these plants. They both feel kind of alien-y, which does make sense because they are meant to be ancient seeds, so they should definitely have a different look. And I'm actually hoping both of these will find a place on my tiered garden, which is over there. So I was thinking that the pitcher pod might fit in on this level, possibly. It's a little bit of a different shade, but it could possibly work, especially if we had some more of them in, and maybe if we could bring in some purples on this level, that could work. We'll take it out for now, but I think we might be able to fit it in. And then maybe the torch flower could work up here. I definitely think that could work, although it's a little bit more yellow than some of the other things that are up here. I think if we played around with this a bit more, we could definitely make both of these work on these 2 levels, and I think they would look very nice. But if we want to do this right, we're going to need an awful lot more of both of these if we want to actually make this look cohesive. So while we wait for our Sniffers to fetch some more seeds, I think it's time that we fix this very bland armour that we're currently wearing. So I know I haven't collected all of the trims, but I have found quite a few, and I think it's worth seeing what I can make with what I have found, at least for now. So I think the main pieces that we really need to care about are the chest plate and the leggings. Now, obviously we don't wear the chest plate super often because of the elytra, but it is the piece that has the most obvious design. And then the second biggest design is on the leggings, and I really want to try and make sure the design we choose for the leggings looks good both with and without the chest plate. So let's take a look at some of the trims we've found and see what they look like. And in case you were wondering, I'm going to be using amethyst because purple is my favourite colour. Although I was almost swayed by some of the other colour choices because they all look very, very good. Okay, so Shaper makes for quite a nice, subtle design, which I really quite like. Coast is also quite a simple design, but a bit more centralised, which is also kind of works, although I'm not sure it's going to work with the leggings quite as well. So one thing I am noticing as I'm sort of flicking through the different trims is that some of them give quite a different colour to a lot of the other ones. So for example, this rib trim seems so much darker than, for example, Spire, which feels a lot lighter. So I think that is something I'm going to want to keep in mind and try and make sure the colours I use for each armour piece all uses similar colours, otherwise I think it might end up looking a little bit strange. Which is quite a shame because I do really like the rib design, but there's not really many of them that have this very dark design. Okay, so after honestly far too much time looking at all of these, I think I've decided what I'm going to go for. And that's going to be a June helmet, a tied chest plate, some Wayfind leggings, and some eye boots. And don't worry, I'm about to duplicate these templates before I make these, so I'm not going to lose the only copy of a template I have. That would be devastating. Okay, I really hope I don't manage to mess this up. So, how do I look? I honestly really like this design. And the chest plate, obviously, like I said, we're not going to use super often, but I really like the way it looks with it. But I also really like the way it looks with my wings, because for some of them, when you take the chest plate off, the top of the leggings just look a little bit weird, which I wasn't super happy with considering how much time we spend in elytra. So I think this works. Well, now we're all kitted out, I think there's one more thing I want to do today, and that is, once again, try and bring some camels home. Now, I'm not going to make the same mistake again. This time, we're going to build a big temporary portal. Let's go with here for now. And then I think we can link it to a portal up here, but unfortunately it's quite close to our main portal. But let's see if we can get this to work. So if we light this and go through, we're going to end up on a new portal or our main one. Oh, let's see if we can go collect our camels. Hopefully they won't die this time. Okay, I think one of the camels should be about here. And if we go through, it's definitely gonna take us to the village, right? Gonna take us... Yes! There's my camel. You didn't think I forgot about you, did you? Come with me, and we're gonna pick up your friend as well. Okay, perfect. Now where is the other camel? Okay, I think the other camel should be about here, so if I just leave you here for now, I'll be right back. He's totally gonna walk through on his own at some point, isn't he? You stay right there. And hopefully... Yes! This is indeed the other place we wanted to be, although I once again managed to spawn on top of a house. Hi, birdie. You're gonna come meet your friend. You don't seem very excited. Come on, he's very excited to meet you. That's it, in you go. Thank you. It's home time. Let's go. And your friend is coming with us. Perfect. They're definitely not gonna die this time, right? I built a big enough portal, I think. I really can't deal with this if they die. I can't go through this again. Okay, well that's one. And that's two. Please, please don't be dead on the other side of here. I will cry. Nope, you're both just sat in the portal. Whew, they didn't die. Okay, let's see about getting you in the stables. Are you too tall for these? Nope. Although you do just walk straight out. That's a slight problem. Okay, hello. Oh, hello. You got all the way out here. Blimey. Okay. I have returned with some more fence gates, which should hopefully keep you in slightly better. Maybe if I put some, like, here? Okay, can you get out now? Oh yeah, you can just walk over those, can't you? Ah, camels. Okay. You two cause more issues than any other mob. Okay, so it's not exactly ideal. One day, I will build you both somewhere absolutely lovely to live, but until then, you guys just have to be patient with me and live here. You've got the llamas for company. I'm sure they're great neighbours. Just don't anger them. They will spit at you, which isn't a very nice thing for them to do, but I'm sure you'll have a great time here. Maybe. You're at least better off than your friend was. He never quite got far enough to see this place. I'll let you guys get used to your new home. It's fine. I promise, it'll be fine. And with the camels safely home, I think I'm going to end the episode there. Between episodes, I'll try and collect some more seeds from our sniffers so we can actually use the flowers in various builds, and maybe I'll think about escalating my desert plans because, well, those camels did not look like they were enjoying their new home all that much. However, next time I think we're probably going to be back in the end and working on our end project. There is still plenty of work to be done there, and while I have really enjoyed these recent adventures, I do really want to keep working away on that project because I think it's going to turn out so good when we actually finish it. But until then, thank you guys for watching, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!